masculine, feminine. Raising both. Doesn't matter what side you raise, it's raising both. I can raise my feminine side, which we've distilled as invitation, surrender, and expression. You're much more of a feminine being, yet you can actually be very masculine too. But there's also this sweet side to you too. When you're in a circumstance with others where you want more neutrality, you want to make sure you're not raising your invitation, surrender, and sexual expression. So it's more like friendship, like right now. And meeting, being to being. Not sexual being to being. Although the sexual beingness is there. Now, if you're in another circumstance where you're wanting to raise polarity with your lovers, then beforehand you're feeling into, okay, what can I do to cultivate my invitation? How you dress. You know, how can you dress that's more sexually enticing, inviting, right? How you adorn yourself. Your surrender, your feeling of, take me if you dare. Feeling that feeling. So those of us in a relationship, for example, Suzanne will, in the morning, like when she went, you know, creating polarity with me, she'll like just dress in a way like she does this morning and, you know, oil herself, and I'm like watching and I'm like, yeah, that's working. Coconut butter all over herself, and I'm like, okay, I get to take time putting my clothes on today, right? So these are inviting, sensual. Then there's the expression of it. So if your expression, you can dial it down. But there's times, for example, if we're going somewhere, we want to dial it down. If we're going to a family type gathering, we may not want to have strong sexual polarity. But let's say we go on a date. We could be at a table on a dinner date, just her and I, and the way I'll pass or she'll pass a glass of water, it's not neutral. It's with conscious invitation, surrender, and expression. The same is for the masculine. So I could be at a dinner with my family, right, with my mom, dad, with my teenagers, and it'll be being to being related. Being to being. But if I'm with Suzanne alone, then it's more presence. Feeling my genitals, my penis is in her, my heart is in her. So then now it ramps up on this side. You see?
And on this side too.
Yeah. So that was an expression, so you can see what we're doing. So neutralize. So now let's say, for example, let's say we're at dinner, but now we're you know, I was at a Rotary Club talk. A lot of nuns, a lot of people there, and a lot of, you know, it's very, you know, like this. And so we may not want to do that. Or if we want to ruffle some feathers, we will. You understand? There's times as lovers we want to ruffle feathers. It's our career. It's what we do. It's what we love. You know what I mean? And what's interesting is there's times where we will be raising the arc of presence, claim, penetration, invitation, surrender, expression with one another, even when our kids are around. So they can see what a healthy dynamic is. See how lovers should interact, not neutral all the time. It's artful and graceful enough for the age group.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But it's still so they can see, hey, mom and dad are hot on each other. Right? It gives them an imprint.
Yes.
Right? Because if not, they don't have the imprint of that sexiness. When they're later, they think, oh, okay, sexiness is before marriage. After marriage is neutralness. That's the imprint.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure that it's a healthy imprint though.
Yes.
A G-rated.
A healthy imprint.
Yeah, no, I'm just...
Like PG.
Yeah.
PG. Maybe not R, but PG. You know, I think it's very important for our youth to see healthy, polarity-filled relationships.
Yes.
And we were, again, we want to let you know, we were raised in families that didn't show the... Now, my parents were a little different. They had a love marriage. For Indian families, 50 years ago, a love marriage is unusual. Between two different castes, different people, mostly all arranged back then. But they had a love marriage. And so I grew up and I would see affection. Affection. But they didn't show the polarity, right? But I know they did. I just knew. Because they had something going. So it's okay to celebrate. We're sexual beings. There's nothing wrong with sex. It's our grace. We have, all the animal species can do this not just for procreation. We can do it for pleasure.
You know,
right?
I noticed that with our teenagers, when I'll come downstairs and be like, oh, your dad's so awesome, you know, like that, they'll just, there's a welling of happiness that goes on inside of them. There's like, you guys, they don't say, but you can, the experience is one of happiness, you know, the experience is one of, rested. They can feel rested. And they look at us, and now I notice in, you know, our daughter is in a relationship, she's 17, but she's, you know, she's in a relationship with a very present young man who loves her, adores her. And,
very noble young man. And
just in their interaction, I notice she's picked up ways of being that she's noticed with us. So it's learning how to be in relationship and also feeling rested in your family, knowing that your parents are, you know, or however way that you show that.
So what's really important is when any one of you are feeling neutral, which you will from just being neutral, from being tired, being busy with life, all the factors that make one neutral and just not in the mood. Age, hormonal changes, food, diet, the things that fluctuate, you know, the hormones and there's so many factors. Really important to be the one who initiates the polarity creation. If you're waiting for the other, you'll be always waiting, because if you have the mindset of, I'll wait until they initiate, they need to initiate. Then guess what they're thinking at the same time? They're thinking the same. And if they're thinking the same, no one wins. Now, I'll be like totally like, you know, sometimes I'll be like this, and tired from my day or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, presence, claim, penetration. Sometimes I'll need to bring my claim. I look at the dial. Is it presence, claim, or penetration? Sometimes I can be very present, but I'm not claiming. Claiming, you're mine. I'm so glad I have you. We're going this way in life together. It's not through words. It's through it's an expression.
Mm-hmm. It's the same. It's the same for me. If I'm feeling like Satyan isn't present with me, I'm like, oh, where's my invitation? Where's my invitation in this moment?
Yeah,
am I being inviting? And I can just ramp that up. I can be more inviting. Maybe he needs me to be, you know, maybe he's had like a tough day, and maybe it's just a glass of water that I can bring to him in a sensual way. Or maybe it's like more hot energy. Maybe to bring him aliveness, I need to, you know, dress in black and show up, you know, like just grab him and bring him to me. Maybe I could do that. You know, my invitation. And also, if I'm feeling like, oh, you know, where is he? I wish you would just claim me today. How surrendered am I being? I could just let go into, I'm love. I don't need to be filled at all. I've forgotten that. And a really good thing that I do is I go off and I dance. That really helps me.
So this is the art of creating it and not. All you have to remember is those dials. Invitation, surrender, expression, presence, claim, penetration. Be the first to start.
Yeah.
Be the first to... You are responsible for the polarity in the relationship. It's not really true. You both are. But you're the one who's responsible for the polarity in the relationship. You get that?
Yeah.
Who's responsible? I am.